Hey, Dave Franecki here. I'm the founding member and the fund manager for Capstone Capital USA. So guess what? You've just found your first note. What do? Wouldn't you like to know? Well, the next 10 minutes or so, you'll find out. Listen in. Talk soon. Found that perfect note and you say, hey, I'm ready to buy. What's next? What do I do? Well, my standard answer is number one, you cannot buy a note in your personal name. An entity is the best way to do it. I'd recommend an LLC if you're buying it in your name out of your Roth, a C Corp, a trust. I never buy land contracts in my name or anything. I always put it into a title holding trust. If you're doing it with a Roth or an IRA, you definitely want to do it through a trust. Keep your name off the books. Keep the anonymity. It's really, really important. My friend Jeff Watson, he's an IRA attorney. He's really a sharp guy. He's an IRA specialist. He says all day long, use a trust. So you say, well, why anonymity? Well, let's talk about the Roth side of it first, and why speed. If you're going through a trust company, now I'm not going to mention any of the big ones in Ohio, but they are so slow. It takes forever to get them set up. When you buy a note, you sign a contract today, it's expected that you're going to fund that in 2 or 3 days at latest. When you're going through a third-party administrator, a trust company, it could take 2-3 weeks, and frankly, the note folks aren't going to wait that long. They want to get paid. So in this video, we're not going to cover the trust benefits. That's a whole different topic another day. So as I said, with the trust, it's when you're using the IRA administrators, it's like trying to steer the Titanic. It just takes forever to get that thing to go. So with that, in terms of, I'm going to give a recommendation. I'd like to recommend my friends at Quest Trust. Quincy Long is the owner. He's an attorney. He knows the drill. He gets it. They love real estate. I think 40-50% of what they do is in real estate. They're really incredible to work with. They can help you with that particular scenario. And they recommend personal property trust. It also saves on fees. So the note seller is going to provide you with a purchase contract. It's an overview form, and it directs the seller and their servicing company for proper servicing. It just sets things up for you to take over the note. And this brings this conversation to a great point. Have your note only serviced by a professional servicing company. It sets up credibility. You don't have to deal with a payer if you don't want to. You can service them if you want in your own ways in terms of talking to them. I like to establish a relationship. But you can, that's what I call a bare bones servicer. You can get some of the higher end folks like at Madison Management or FCI, and they'll do it all, but it'll cost you too. They'll get into your wallet. So it's just a function of, do you want just them to collect the payments, or do you want a full service servicing? Service charges on that could be as little as $12 a month, could be as high as $50. You be the judge of what works for you, but that does affect your bottom line too. But it's a time saver depending on where you are. So we'll cover servicers in a later video in terms of what to expect out of them. That's all I really want to get into right now. So after executing the contract, you wire the funds to the note seller. Sorry, cash, personal checks, nada, they don't get it. If you're in the same city where the note seller is, you could probably take them a cashier's check. They might accept that. I do. It's good the next day. It's all good. Okay, so now you've funded. What's next? Well, that's a great question. And you may be thinking, yikes, I'm lost. I have no clue what's going on. I sent my money to this black hole. What's going to happen? So the seller is going to execute the required transfer documents, the deeds, the assignments, the note transfers, which are also known as allonges. They're going to get those to you, probably FedEx. They're going to send you the collateral file, which has all the backup loan docs. And you'll get all this typically within the first 30 days, if not much less. Sometimes as little as 2 weeks, it just depends. You need to go through those various docs and make sure that everything's there. If there's questions, ask at that point. Now, if you choose, you can store the files at your home or your office, but make sure it's in a fireproof safe. Really, really important. Those are like gold. The note especially, that is totally gold. You can also have the docs stored off-site. Richmond Monroe is a good company for that. They'll charge you, I don't know what they are, but they have a good reputation. Or maybe the servicing company or an attorney will take care of these and store them for you. So make sure that you record everything on the note, with the exception of the note transfer or the allonge. Keep that, as I said, in a safe, secure area. Your servicer may record the docs for you. They may not, it depends. There are sites online like deeds.com that will record them. You can also, there's a gal in South Carolina, her name is Erica Nettie, she can record them for you too. But they're all good. It's going to cost you money, but you got to get yourself on public record and just secure your investment. Track the payments. From the time that you went under contract, those payments are yours. So the first month or two might get kind of mushy in there in terms of where it's at. You're going to have to go back and track it down and bring it forward. Also, as the services are changing from A to B, if you go that way, like today, for example, I had to go from one servicer to find out why my servicer, the new one, didn't get the docs. And if I didn't intervene, it'd be sitting there forever. And frankly, I waited too long. It's taken an extra 10 days or so. I can live with that. But to that point, you need to be involved for what it might be. Also, again, case in point today, I have a note in Port Huron, Michigan. And the people there, they've been there, I guess, since '09. I made contact with them about their insurance declaration page. Because you're going to want to have that insurance policy naming your entity as a lost payee in the event that something happens. So that's pretty much it on the boarding process. It's not that difficult. You're going to want to track your payments as you go, even for month 2 and 3, to make sure they're all there. Every year, you're going to want to make sure the taxes have been paid. You're going to want to go into the servicer site every month, every 2 months, to make sure that it's all the way it should be. In other words, this is your investment. You want to cover your tail on this, so to speak. If there's holes, and you need to come in and fix them up. So it's pretty straightforward. Okay, so a lot of this you'll have in our Note Holders Handbook. The link to this is at the bottom of your screen. It's free. There's a lot of other free stuff on there. But it's really detailed. There's about maybe, 30 pages of meat and potatoes and another 40 pages of glossary. But it'll really help you in managing your note and managing your investment. It's really important. By the way, if you're looking for notes down the road to buy, we have some in our note vault, and the link again is below on the bottom of the page here. I'd highly recommend looking at that. There's some really good values there. So that's it for now, and we'll talk soon. Thank you.